Welcome to Brain Dead Obsessions. I am Veronica Farrell.
I'm Romala Hopkins.
And we just talk about things we're obsessed with. It's basically all it is. We let our ADHD take over.
Most of the time it's going to be weird niche things, fandoms, pop culture, and books is another one. That's
mostly books.
Mostly books.
We're obsessed with books.
It's a problem.
I'm using all the brain cells today, and I'm going to talk about my newest obsession, Shadow and Bone, and the Six of Crows series. So for a disclaimer, there will be spoilers for these books and the show. So if you haven't watched the show and you want to, and you haven't read the books and you want to, don't watch this. I haven't read all of the books in this universe, because I've read all the books in the Shadow and Bone trilogy. I've read The Six of Crows, and I'm almost finished Crooked Kingdom. I have not gotten to The King of Scars or Rule of the Wolves. Yeah, so let's go over some of the lovely things of this lovely series that I love. Can I say love anymore? No.
Love.
Also, we mostly will be discussing just season 2 because I honestly don't remember what happened in season 1. I remember a goat. That's about it. Apparently people really hated that goat.
Why do people hate that? Oh, right. Kill Milo. Or
cook Milo. We're skipping kill. We're cooking him.
We're just putting him in a pot of boiling water and seeing what kind of stew we get.
I don't know why, because, okay, there's no goat in the story. I'll give them that. But, the entire show is fan fiction at this point.
Who doesn't like a goat?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know why. It goes bah.
Bah.
I accidentally watched the show before reading the books, and I was thoroughly confused when I watched the first season because I didn't know what was going on, but I liked the setting and stuff. I mostly liked the 3 con artists, I called them. Once I read the books, I found out to be the Crows, who I love. Utterly love.
Kind of con artists, not really con
They're
artists.
not they're thieves. But in the show, I was like, I don't know what you call them. I guess they're con artists. They were the only entertaining part of the show to me. That was before I read the books and knew what the story was about. Then I read the books, I'm like, okay, yes, I picked the right ones. But still, Shadow and Bone story was fine. I think I might have showed you this, but I don't know. The character, they decided to change 2 characters. They were side characters, so you didn't really notice.
Oh, there was a recasting? Did you tell me that?
Yeah, so there's one girl who, I think her name's Nadia. That's a different person. She was completely different. Her hair was completely different. Face structure, just different person. But the one that was okay, you didn't even try to be subtle, was... I don't know how to say his name. I'm just going to call him Vaseline. Vaseline is supposed to be the older brother.
Hold on. You should know that we are both a little dyslexic.
Yeah.
We can't pronounce names for the life of us. Not even a little. So
even if I'm not actually trying to make fun of the person,
no,
I just really don't know how to pronounce their name.
There was a point in time where I was tasked, literally there was name cards, you go to Stop at Michael's, and we flipped through them. I said all of them wrong, and they were very basic names like Mia and Roger, and I was like, I don't know how to pronounce these.
Back to what I was saying about Vaseline. So yeah, they changed Nadia, which again, just to a different black woman, but it was still obvious. But at least they were trying to make them sort of similar. Freaking Vaseline started off as a
I remember that
round.
Tall. Wait, no, was he the small one first, and then the dark haired?
Yeah, he was this kind of smaller, kind of rounder, fuller face blonde guy, and then he goes to this stick thin, slender. Dark-haired man in the second season when he has lines. I'm
from what I've seen, I haven't watched or read either of these. She reads to me all the time.
Yeah, I do.
From what I've seen, it went from all right, this is a blonde-hair, blue-eyed descendant of royalty to Darkling Jr.
Yeah, basically.
It went to Darkling Jr.
It went to Darkling Jr. Events in the show that I just hated. Now, this is in no order whatsoever, by the way. So I'm going to be jumping all over the place. I hope you can keep up. It's starting with Vaseline again. Vaseline kidnaps Mal.
Why?
I don't know, because we never go back to it.
In the show?
We never go back to it in the show. So, like, I think they wanted something, like, for a long period of time, Mal couldn't be near Elena, because that was, like, I guess that was the point of, like, she's trying to do stuff without him. But instead of, like, having him go do a task or something, they just had freaking Vaseline kidnap him, and then all of a sudden, when shit's going a mess or whatever, I can't remember exactly, but when shit's going a mess, he shows up again. We have no clue where he kidnapped him and put him. We have no clue how Mal got out, and we never see Vaseline again until he dies.
Why?
I don't know why they put that in the show. That was nowhere in the books. Nowhere. Never did that. And it was, like, pointless. It was so pointless. I don't know what was the point. I thought we were gonna get to see him, like, fight his way through or something.
You literally have nothing else. He just disappears and then
just
comes back. I'm
back.
literally reading the notes. He just disappears and comes back.
He does. I don't know what happened. So they were trying to think of something to keep him away from Elena, because this is like a shit was going down and Elena's trying to make her own decisions, right? Mm-hmm. And like usually Mal is there to help her. And I think it was supposed to show that Mal, like, she's thinking to herself, oh, Mal doesn't like me. He hates me, or like that was the point. Like, it's like, oh, he's not here for me kind of thing. But instead of like having him where Nikolai puts him on a mission and doesn't tell Elena, or like he decides to go off on something else to save something, you know what I mean?
They just go, well, he's kidnapped now by by
freaking Vaseline.
The crown prince, right?
Yeah, the crown prince, and then
the crown prince just, casually like kidnaps people for no reason. Like, what? And
now this happened after he tried to propose to Elena,
Vaseline tries to propose?
Okay. And then he, like, it was built up really good.
Who isn't trying to fuck her at this point, from what I've understood?
Everybody is. It's the main character. What else would you?
What else would we do?
Exactly. So the thing is,
there's no way anyone would be like, this is cute, but no, to the main character.
Exactly.
She's a sun summoner.
She
could be missing one eye. She's the sun summoner.
They built it up, too. Like, it was like, all of a sudden he heard, because all Vaseline knows is that Nikolai proposed to her. And they're going to get married, okay?
Okay.
And so he's like, why does she want whatever? And then she sees Mal constantly with her. And so he's like, why are they together? And then he overhears them talking about, basically, like, lovey-dovey stuff. Like, they're together. But, like, it'll only be in, whatever, name only. Like, we're not going to be together, me and Nikolai. And so he's, like, thinking, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna bring this up to the queen and king. Like, he's gonna, like, blackmail her. You know what I mean? Like, that would make more sense. No, he kidnaps Mal. And I'm like, all right. I mean, he tried to propose to her after that, and she said no. So he's like, okay, I'll just kidnap. And, like, I thought, again, make her, like, hey, you need to marry me, or else. No.
We can't do things like a normal human being.
He just shows back up. Unless I blacked out and wasn't paying attention. This is going to be hilarious if I go back in editing and there was actually the whole entire scene that I just didn't pay attention to. I also hate that Nina accepts Nikolai's proposal so easily. Like, in the books, she never accepts it. Never.
I remember you saying how like they were talking about it, and you're like, she doesn't accept it, and then Mal was still being a bitch baby.
Yeah, Mal kind of, which, I mean, it makes sense why he was like upset, but sometimes you were like, okay, dude, like she's trying to actually figure shit out. But the show, it's like he asks once, and she goes, okay, I'll think about it, and then the same night goes to him. We get a nice shot of the prince.
We love good shots of
we get a nice shot of the prince because he opens up the thing and he's basically shirtless. So you're like, okay.
Basically, what is basically shirtless?
Well, because like he was wearing a robe, but it's open.
Okay, that is basically
shirtless. We get to see his abs, but he's not really shirtless.
He's got a shirt open.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, I mean, all right. In the end, as far as I know from looking at it, it doesn't seem like they're actually married. They're just, like, again, in name only. Like, they never officially got married, but she is, like, the queen and he is the king. So she didn't have to accept his proposal at all.
Makes sense. Cause
like, they could have just did that from the start.
Because the thing is she's technically taking, from what I understand from what she's told me, she's taking over the role that Darkling had, but obviously in a less abusive way.
Yeah, it's more like to just join Grisha and then just regular people.
Just the kingdom and Grisha together without having to put a Grisha on the throne.
But she is on the throne. That's what's weird. She is technically the queen, but they never really get married. I don't know.
So is she the queen or is she not the queen? Because technically the queen can only be queen by marriage.
Well, that's why I'm confused whether they actually got married or not, because it never... Maybe they are married, they just never had a marriage ceremony.
I'm so confused.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying, where the Shadow and Bone trilogy in the show is very confusing as to what happens. Well, in the books, it's very straightforward. She never marries him. She never wants to marry him. She is fighting tooth and nail.
Doesn't she keep her powers in the show?
In the show, yes, the way it ends, but I think that's because they want to continue with it, because they didn't put everything in this season that happened.
Right.
So what also happens in the end, because they decided to add 2 books together. You know what I mean?
Yes, I remember.
So it's a lot to try to put. So they kind of took stuff that's supposed to happen in book 3 and moved it, but, like, they already defeated the Darkling.
Well, I guess we could, like, find a new thing and then just do all the things that we did before defeating the Darkling, but it's not the Darkling, it's just some other guy.
Well, now they're introducing...
The Darklinger.
Yeah, now, the Darklinger. I think they're gonna make her dark, which is weird, because she never turns dark. She does when she not defeats him, when she... Remember how I told you in the book her hair turns white because she tries, it's a failed attempt at killing herself and the Darkling?
Yes.
That happens in the book. She kind of loses her use of her powers, but she gains a little bit of his, and she can use, it's basically like party tricks with Shadow. She can't really do anything like hurt people. But at the end of the season, you see her use the cut, and there's shadows with it. So everyone's like, oh no, are they making her dark? And I'm like, I think they might be doing that instead. Like, leaning on, oh, she has obtained some of his powers.
Right. But I feel like that makes it sound... Brain's dead. That makes it sound more like they're trying to say that his powers in general are influencing to the dark side instead of he was just a dark person.
That's why I'm confused on what the fuck's going on. I was confused with the books. Like I told you, the magic / small science that they use.
No,
it's a little confusing.
The magic system in the world building, from what she told me, absolutely a mess.
A mess. No, I love the characters. I love the plot line. I am confused by the magic, and then it gets worse in the show because they add new things, which I'm actually segue into. It gets more confusing. Honestly, books and show, it gets more confusing as the Darkling uses his magic, because he breaks all the rules to the point where you're like, all right, I wouldn't be shocked if he could turn into a unicorn at this point.
No, literally, and then the dumb shit that he would do. I'm like, what okay,
oh yeah, the Darkling,
a two-dimensional character. You have never seen such a.
He's hot. He is so fucking hot.
You've never seen such a flat, two-dimensional, unmoving, boring character. The only thing interesting about him is that his insanity, but it's like only just like the man's like puddles are deeper than him. You can drown in a puddle. You can't drown in this man's character. All right.
Yeah, but no. In the Six of Crows.
Oh yeah, no, they're fantastic.
Broker. Oh my god. Brocker. Can I not pronounce? I'm brain dead. You took all my cells.
For a 2-second rant. Leave me alone.
Give them back.
What did you write it down?
Kaz Breaker. I'm pretty sure it's Breaker.
I'm just throwing out words.
Brecker. It's Kaz Brecker. There we go. Six of Crows, Kaz Brecker. Way more of a villain than the Darkling is. Villain-wise. The Darkling has grown an empire, basically.
Right.
But he's
Darkling was playing the long con.
Yes, but he went I don't know. It didn't
took a
make
weird
sense.
turn.
It didn't make sense why he wanted to kill so many people. Like, at some point, he basically just wanted to kill everybody but him and Alina, and I'm like, why, though? Why?
But why?
Prince Nikolai and Stormhound are the same person. But in the books, you don't know that because he's tailored to look like a completely different person. He has reddish hair. He has a crooked, broken nose.
Doesn't he have like green eyes?
Yeah, he has piercing green eyes. Like, everything's just a little off that you're like, what is going on here? He's very, like, flamboyant, but at the same time, like, you don't want to fuck with him.
Veronica accidentally read one part of that wrong and thought he was in like a fluffy green pimp coat.
No, blue. It was blue. I didn't realize until the show
that she read it wrong.
That it was actually supposed to be like an average, like, it's bright blue, so it's weird, but an average, like, pirate coat, like pirates wear.
She was thinking like one of those furry boa pimp jackets.
I thought he was in a pimp coat, and I was like, well, that makes sense with the way he is.
It's not. It does. It's
I wish they put him in that. It would have been so much better.
Honestly, if there was like a modern our world UA,
he would
like
be
that would be he'd be pimp coat.
Yep.
I could see it.
Back to what I was saying. He's tailored to look like a different person, and then once they get through the fold on one of his airships and they crash because the same thing happens. Alina starts seeing the Darkling, gets freaked out. They crash, they get out of the water, and he's had like a hat and glasses on the entire time. He takes it off, and he's now Prince Nikolai. He has his blonde hair, blue eyes, no face is perfect. He's good. And
straight nose.
Mal and Alina are like, who are you? And he says, like, yeah, I'm the prince. And then she punches him. So his nose wasn't straight for too long. But
well, the fat, what are they called? The
tailors?
So the tailor is right around the corner. We can fix that.
Exactly. So
it's just temporary misstep.
Yeah. In the show, which I've seen so many people make fun of, it basically was a Perry the Platypus transition.
A platypus?
Perry the Platypus. The man took off his blue coat and was wearing, like, you know, the army medals and shit that, like, royalty wear. And they're like, the prince. I'm like,
a man? The prince?
a pirate? The prince?
A pirate prince.
A pirate prince. Also, I miss that they didn't make him more sassy. The one in the show, he's very cocky, but he comes off more egotistic and, like, not fun sassy.
Sassy. We need a sassy man.
Yeah. This I kind of liked. The Darkling's connection, you know how in the books, how I said, like, after she basically takes control of her powers through the antlers, and he has no more power against her, but for some reason they're connected. So in the books, it's more like they're connected because of the antlers. In the show, she does something to his hand, and it leaves, like, a permanent mark on it. So that's kind of their connection.
Okay.
So that's a little more solid in the show about what's connecting them.
Okay.
So his mother sacrifices herself. I love Bagra. Bagra had more of a part in the show. That was fantastic. So she sacrifices herself because she's an amplifier, she grabs onto Alina and uses her connection to get to him through the weird connection thing they had. And so she shows up to him wherever he is in his, like, evil lair or whatever. And she cuts off his hand.
Cute. We love to see.
Sever the connection to Alina so Alina can be free, and then she kills herself. Either they go... No, because they... Okay, so in my notes, I wrote down that he took his mother's hand. But it might just be his own hand again that they reattached. But whatever hand they take, I think it's his mother's. They take her hand, reattach it to his stub, and he now has, like, the skeleton key to anything she knew about, but also the skeleton key to go visit Mal now, and to go into Mal and Alina's past to see what the fuck happened with them when they were children. So now he knows that Mal's his cousin.
I'm sorry, what?
Exactly! I'm sitting there looking at the screen going,
I'm sorry.
How?
I know his mother's an amplifier, right?
He's also an amplifier.
We're not.
He's an amplifier.
We're not gonna start.
She's an amplifier.
We are not going to start.
Okay, continue.
With that nonsense.
Uh-huh.
So, his mother's an amplifier.
Yes.
Taking the hand of another amplifier.
And attaching it to himself.
And attaching it to himself. Makes sense that his powers would grow stronger, right?
Mm-hmm.
But how, in fuck's name, does controlling darkness and shadows translate to memory?
I don't know.
And if we're connecting it to his mother's memories, why does his mother know about Mal's childhood?
She doesn't.
That's what I mean.
He that's what I'm saying. How is he how can he all of a sudden now go and see Mal? He actually goes and teleports, like does his weird thing that he does with Alina, which made more sense, but they severed the connection, so now he can go see Mal. He goes and he like threatens Mal.
He's like, "Hey, baby boy."
And then he can
how
go
you
into
doing?
Mal's memories. And I'm like, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Hey, baby boy, how you doing?
Again, every one of the actors who played in this, fantastic. I love them. They're great. Even the Darkly, like, they're fantastic. I love them so much. But the plot line for this, I do not like. Will I keep watching it? Hell yeah. But it's still not good.
Veronica still does not understand.
I don't.
It makes no sense. The fact that Mal had powers. We just wanted him to be some guy that was good at tracking.
Like, he thought he was really good at this thing, and then Alina fucking takes it away.
It's like, by the way, baby boy. No.
You were just made for me. And it's like,
you were made just for me.
Bitch.
That sounds so fucking rude.
Yeah.
Be like, you were made to become my amplifier.
He's brought back to life. The show actually makes Alina be able to bring him back to life, which doesn't make any sense. The book, the twins that were with the Prince Nikolai, they are heartrenders and they were able to bring him back just enough.
Just barely.
Which makes sense more.
Kind of.
It makes more sense compared to that world than Alina being able to do it.
It's more like emergency surgery in comparison to
like it was just a miracle that happened while
witchy nonsense.
Exactly. I was like, oh, okay. So that's a little confusing. But anyway, let's get on to the things that I actually do love, so I'm not, ripping this thing to shreds.
Just being a Debbie Downer.
The first thing. There's actually a magical blade instead of Mal's shitty tattoo.
Oh, right.
There's a brief moment, which I don't even know where the hell he got it. Or wait, no, he got it. Apparently, there's like, people were getting tattoos done when they were in the underground church place with the apparent.
Yes, and you told me that he had a tattoo, and that's why he was referred to as the Blade.
Yeah, so like his back, it's a huge blade, and in it says I become Blade, not even like I am the Blade or whatever. It's I become Blade, and I'm like, really? Like that's all that happens. And then he says this sweet thing, basically being like, I will become your Blade, like to Alina, says he's gonna, fight for her. But that's like it. But the show decides to make it so they can include the Six of Crows, which I'm so happy for. It's a magical sword that they need help to fight off the shadow soldiers, and they need the Six of Crows to steal it.
Fantastic.
Another thing I love, the king dies. Fuck that guy. Just fuck that guy.
Absolutely refuse to acknowledge his existence, because fuck that bitch is what we're going with here.
Well, because he's the one who basically rapes Gina.
Right,
throughout the entire thing,
and then she poisons herself, and so bad
that's
bitch. The reason.
Bitch.
That's the reason why we like her. She went. I didn't poison him.
He poisoned himself.
I poisoned me.
I poisoned my skin, and every time he kissed me,
the only way he could have been poisoned by me is if he touched me.
Which I'm so happy they kept that. But I do feel sad that the king wasn't alive then. Because in the books, he's alive and well, unfortunately. But
he's just a little sick.
Yes. But she, like tells him off and the queen off. And then Nikolai's there because she's explaining her case. And Nikolai freaks the fuck out on his parents. I don't know if this is actually how people read about it in the books. Because I pictured it differently. When they were talking about shadow soldiers, I pictured they were still the Volcra, just like now they can come wherever the Darkling is.
They were just more...
Yeah, like he can make them appear. Turns out in the show, they had them be different. They're literally just these, like, moving masses of shadow. So that actually could just be me not reading it right.
That's fair.
Dyslexic, brain dead, we know. So yeah, that might just be a misinterpretation on my part, but I did like that they were separate from the Volcra, because I kind of thought in the books that they looked alike. It's just now they were shadow soldiers because he could make them.
I'm gonna let you know I just popped my neck and I have no idea if that got caught on the mic because I was holding it so close. So if you hear a weird crick when you're editing this, there you go.
They also, at the end of season 2, they made Mal Stormhold, Stormhound, something like that. Whatever the alter ego was for Nikolai. But yeah, I was happy that they made Mal at the end because it actually was, like, freeing. Like, he could finally be free, and I feel like he deserved more. I don't get why there's so many people that hate on him.
The problem is that he's, like, he's Wonder Bread. Everyone's
he is, but that's no reason to, like, hate on him.
You have to realize what internet culture is. Internet culture is the Darkling.
To me, the Darkling's Wonder Bread, just with a little eyeliner. Okay? No hate on, what's his name, Ben Barnes? He's great.
Who?
That's the actor. He's
yes.
great. He's fantastic.
No,
but,
man's hot. Like, that's
hot.
hot. One dimension. We got one-dimensionalness of the Darkling.
Yeah.
He's just an unnecessarily evil character, and he does evil things, but they make no sense.
There's no layers.
There's no layers. There's no onions going on here.
No.
I need to cut you open and cry. If I cannot
and we move on to the Six of Crows, which is every single character.
They're good onions. You cut open their layers.
Good onions.
You cut open their layers and you cry. You see the potential in childhood, you see the trauma, you see the heartbreak, and you're like, now I'm in tears. The Darkling, you cut him open and you're like, this isn't an onion. This is a cake. This is a cake that's shaped like an onion. It's just sweet and fluffy and full of empty calories.
Now, he does have a bad backstory, because yes, he was hunted.
He has a bad backstory.
It's kind of like, it's a bad one, but it's like an expected one. I think that's why I don't like it, because it's like, oh, okay, it's like everybody else. That's what it is. It's like everybody else. All the other Grisha have basically gone.
That's what I mean. They've all
through it, but like they've been hunted their entire lives.
Grisha have been hunted, and then he went, I've been hunted, and so now I'm going to basically set the world on fire, even though this is something all Grisha go through, and then I'm actually going to accidentally on purpose kill Grisha to prove my point.
Yeah, like he started out good. Like it's like, all right, he's like trying to make a safe haven for them. So he's like trying, he got there, but then he decided he's gonna kill everybody. And I'm like, that's the part that doesn't make sense to me.
What are we doing? What are we trying for?
Stormhound screwing over the Darkling and saving Mal and Alina in the beginning of the second book, I really wish was in there.
Oh, that'd be pretty funny.
Because, like, that was a huge part. And, like, Alina was scared that he did that. And he's like, well, you gotta make some, some interesting enemies to keep your life interesting. And I'm like, I like this character.
She told me this, and I was like, this is a man after my own heart.
Exactly.
All right?
He's like, I don't care.
A seafaring pirate who's like, fuck it. I want to see what kind of enemies I can make. I'm like, this is a man who fucks.
I wanted, like I said, more of his sassiness and more of Alina and his conversations. Like, the ones in the book, they were hilarious, okay? Like, it got to a point where, like, I kind of want them to be together. And I know a bunch of people probably just freaked out on me because I know Zoya and him get together. You don't have to tell me. I know I haven't read The King of Scars, but I do not like Zoya. I am sorry. That is my opinion. I know I still have to read The King of Scars. I still got to read it. But as far as she is concerned, show and books did not like her. Oh, and I've already told you this multiple times, but I didn't even know she was in the show. Those bangs threw me off. I did not know that was her. So I watched the show, like I said. I watched the show, and then I read the books. While reading the books, I literally was like, this Zoya character, don't like her, but she seems very essential to the plot line. Why wasn't she in the show? Watches the show again. Oh! They left out. They're probably, well, because Bagra's dead now, so they're probably not going to introduce this character. But there was this cute little servant boy who was, after the Darkling blinded her, was supposed to take care of her. And I forget what his name is, because I didn't look it up, but he is adorable. He has a relationship with Mal. Like, it's like a dad. Like, you get to see Mal be like a dad, and I love it.
Oh, that's so cute.
Like, he gets to teach him how to fight and shit, and, like, he follows him everywhere.
How much you want to bet that he's going to end up being the... Like, on pirate ships, they usually have, like, a small child that usually ends up in the crow's nest.
I would love that if they
There's a
include that.
name for it.
If they do that, I will love
There's a
them for
name
that.
for it.
Because I love
Like, you know
that
how, like,
relationship.
page boys are a thing? There's, like, a name for ship boys. And I don't remember what the name is.
Whatever. I need that to happen. That would... Netflix?
Please.
That was it with the Shadow and Bone. It's part of the show and what I liked and what I didn't. Now we're going to move on to my heart and soul. The Crows. I love them so much.
Everyone's favorite from the sounds of it?
Yeah, basically. There are some people who still really like Shadow and Bone. Like, I like it too. It was decent. But, like, the Crows have me. I've signed
in a chokehold?
Yeah, in a chokehold.
By
I've
the
signed a
throat?
deal with the devil himself, Kaz Brecker, and I am with them. So again, love the books, love the show, even though it is basically a fan fiction. If you watch the show and haven't read the books yet, which again shouldn't be watching this, but basically none of the stuff they do, like plot wise, happens in the books. There are a few things that do pop up that happen, but they happen in a different sequence in the books. And like in season 2, I noticed a lot more lines from the books they used, but again, we're in different contexts, but they still meant a lot. I think the reason why I liked it and didn't like the Shadow and Bone, how they were doing it, was Shadow and Bone, when they changed the plot, they also changed the characters a lot. So the characters weren't as authentic to the books. In the Crows part of the show, they kept all of those, like the casting and all of the personalities of the Crows, exact same. Though I did see somebody say that they thought that Waylon was kind of more of a pushover and shit in the books than he is in the show. Really,
More in the show, or wait?
more in the books. They thought he was a pushover in the books, and then the show gave him more balls, basically. I honestly, I don't really think that. Like, I think he's basically the same, but, you know, everybody's opinion.
Didn't you say that you think the show made him more awkward?
I think they made him, like, autistic. Like, I think they played up him being autistic, because when I was reading the book, I never got his mannerisms to be the way they were in the show. And the mannerisms that they're presenting seem more like that of a autistic person, kind of dramatized. I could be wrong, but that's what I instantly took from the way he was acting. Because, like, yeah, when I read the book, I would, like, he would shy away from things, but when I think of someone shying away, I think of them kind of looking down or looking over, you know what I mean? And, like, blushing or walking straight out of the room. I don't think of him doing his whole thing, because he kind of ticks. Like, he's constantly playing with his fingers, which I do too, but
what does that say about you?
I might have autism. He's constantly playing with his fingers, or then he does, like, he doesn't just, like, look away, like, he, like, ticks to the side. Like, it's like a snapping motion. So that's where I'm thinking, it was just, like, it was a little, like, a direction the actor took. Or the direction the director told them to take. You know what I mean? Like, something like that. That was the only difference I saw from my mind. I didn't see him doing that. I did not hate any part of any part. I literally have no events hated. Events I loved. I love the fact that they gave Inej the magic sword to save Alina.
Ooh.
Fantastic. Just Wesper in general. Just Jesper. Well, I love Jesper. He's my favorite character. But him and Waylon, just perfect.
The way that Jesper remembers who Waylon is still my favorite thing.
Oh, that is my favorite scene.
That's
freaking muscle memory. Okay, like he can't get worse than that.
It's like, it's hilarious because the thing is, it makes me call back. I forget what the movie was. It's like an old, like one of those, like 2010s, like finding love movies, and it's like, the girl was like, if I can't find somebody by like 30 or whatnot, like I'll just go back through, like I'll date, like I'll marry like her guy friend. And then she didn't want to pass her body count, so she started going through all the old boyfriends that she had, and she's like in her 30s, so all of them are in their professions, and the one became a gynecologist, and he didn't remember her until he gave her a checkup. I don't remember what the movie's called.
Oh my god, that's horrible.
But that's literally that's the scene.
That's literally it, though.
That's the scene. Also, waffles.
Oh, waffles, that's in the book, too. Waffles are just everything with them. I mean, why not? You know?
Good Belgian, honestly, though.
Yeah.
You could top a Belgian with anything.
So,
With
them
cream?
having a one-night stand, I actually really love. In the books, it is a very... Like, all the characters basically have slow burn. The only ones who really get together real quick are, like, Nina and Matthias. Their first kiss in the book literally sends me reeling.
She told me this, and I literally locked the door on
'cause
her. I went, I don't want to hear this no more.
Freaking the other couples have such nice first kisses, right? Or first kiss in general, because Kaz and Inej technically don't kiss on the lips. He like kisses her neck when he's having a panic episode. Lovely.
And then
Jesper kisses the wrong boy because he kisses, I don't know how to pronounce his name, the shoe boy that they have. Because him and Waylon were tailored to look the same, so he thought it was Waylon and just kissed him, and it wasn't him. And Waylon's standing in the doorway like,
You wanna go and talk about the plan and sort of making out with
this guy,
that guy.
So their first kiss in the show, because I guess they've already had sex, so it's not really their first kiss, but like the first kiss they have on screen, fantastic, lovely. Very nice. Jesper yelling "my man" when he throws a bomb. He threw a bomb at the shadow soldier and it like dissipated and he goes, "My man." He's like, wait a second. We actually haven't officially put a label, but you did it. You're great. Like,
literally,
they're chaotic and I love them.
I like it because sometimes you just gotta claim your significant other. You gotta be like,
oh, yeah.
You're mine now. That's how this goes.
Oh, I love them.
My man.
Also, whoever put Jesper in a kilt.
Jesper's in a kilt at some point?
He's in the kilt for the final battle. I forgot to tell you that.
What?
He's in a kilt.
Why?
Because he can.
That's
He's
fair.
Jesper.
That's honestly fair.
All right. Now let's go to Kinej moments because they're great. So Kaz has a panic moment when they're talking to the lady to try to get the sword. He has to take off his gloves to like do the traditional whatever tea thing that they do, and then she starts talking, and then she's like, "Yeah, no, I'm not giving you it." And then she purposely has a waitress like bump into him so that she can get away quickly. But of course, he doesn't have his gloves on. He like fumbles back to the table, and Nina puts her hand on him to try to like stabilize him, try to calm him down, but she doesn't know he has this like, he can't touch flesh. So
the flesh on flesh is an uncomfortable
So he starts panicking, freaking out, hyperventilating, and running through the town. And now because he's running through the town and it's crowded, he keeps bumping into other people. So then Inej comes out of nowhere, grabs him, pulls him off to the side and puts him down, and then puts his gloves next to him and then runs after the lady. And I'm like, that's just so nice. It's just so nice.
Honestly, they're great. The two of them, great.
I love
Fantastic.
They're poisonous nightmares / dreams because Inej is writing her own fan fiction in her dream.
What?
When they go to break into the lady's house for the sword, she has it rigged so that this poison comes out. Everybody is in there except for Waylon. Waylon's outside. The door's locked. Can't get in. You can't even break the glass. It's like a glass you can't break, whatever. Toya is finding his twin sister, like, dying. Kaz is getting drowned.
Toya Sokka?
Yeah.
Okay.
He has a twin sister named Tamar. They're both heartrenders.
Katara?
Basically. He's finding her dying. She has, like, a thing, like a wooden thing through her, and she's bleeding out to death. Okay, so Kaz and him are having traumatic moments. Jesper is having a lovely moment with his mother.
And Inej is about to get some dick.
They are fully clothed. The only clothing that comes off is his gloves, and you're sitting there like, I don't know if I should be watching this.
This is private
like
scene.
R-rated. What are you like?
The only thing that comes off are his gloves.
Literally,
and it's still great.
So many people were like,
bloody, slutty, and pathetic, I'm telling you.
So many people were like, in this scene, they didn't hear action. They heard changed lives. Okay. After that, when because she has to shove it into Kaz's mouth, okay? Kaz is, in his dream, is drowning from his brother. His brother just keeps pushing him in and out of the freaking water and screaming at him. He's screaming nice, well, not really nice things. He's screaming like you can't keep pushing people away. Like, what is the point of all this revenge if you're the only one left, if no one there is left to love, you know what
and
I mean?
then
Like
drowning you at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be like, mixed messages, bitch.
Exactly.
Tell me what you want.
Exactly. So he Inej puts it in his mouth and like holds his mouth shut and like holds his head, and she's like keeps just saying I'm sorry because she knows she shouldn't be touching him because of his phobia. He then wakes up, because before he wakes up, he sees her face through the water, and he comes up to the surface. He wakes up, and, like, the look this man gives her, everyone's like, do you see the moment of peace he has before he realizes she's touching him? Like, his eyes are like, oh my god, I am safe now. And then he realizes she's touching him, and he freaks the fuck out. But I'm like...
Drama is
nice.
powerful, all right?
Is. Nina just being her sassy self, always fantastic. She's very sassy in books. She's very sassy in the show, and I love her for it. Matthias, we don't get to see Matthias that often this season, which in my eyes is kind of for the best.
You did not like Matthias.
I didn't. Honestly, though, I didn't like Matthias in the first book. This second book, which I know the ending, because I've seen spoilers, I know he dies. I hate the fact that the author is now making me like him because he's actually like more put together. And I'm like, great. You're like, gonna make me, I hated him at first, but now you're going to make me love him, and then you're going to rip him away from me.
How dare you?
All of the fight scenes with them is just fantastic. You have Kaz against the Dreads. Like, that's several people. He fights with his cane.
No,
I think I showed you.
You showed me this one, yes. Fucking took a man's eye out with the pointy part of his cane.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
He's just Inej against the taxidermist.
You showed me this one too.
Great. Waylon, Jesper, and Kaz in the final battle. I think I didn't show you that?
You did not show me the final battle.
Okay, the final battle was, I think I showed, where he threw the bomb.
Oh, is that the final battle?
That's one of the, yeah, that's the final battle. That they're in, that part. Because technically Inej is with them when they're doing against the Darkling. Mm-hmm. But for them, that is their front. That's where Jesper's actually wearing the kilt. I guess you just didn't pay attention.
Well, I didn't.
Just didn't see it. It's like a long kilt. It's not like really, you can't really tell.
Or am I confusing with what I think I would see from the scene that you told me in the book? I think I'm confusing it. You haven't shown me the scene at all.
Okay, so basically what the scene is...
I'm thinking of the one where Waylon throws the bomb and tells Jesper to jump in the fountain, and that's in the book.
Oh, no, that's in the book. That's in the book.
So
okay.
that's why.
In the final battle, Prince Nikolai and the rest, like a few Grisha and a few soldiers are hiding, okay, but behind these plaques, these pieces of wood or whatever, and the Grisha with the Darkling, who are basically rogue Grisha, like the one girl is supposed to be a tide, so she's good with, like, tide maker, which is good with, like, water. But this girl was able to also rip water out of people's bodies.
Mood.
So that was nice.
Katara?
Basically, yeah, water, bloodbending, basically. Final battle. They're, like, at, like, somebody melted, like, the gate so they can't get through it. And they're, like, the Grisha are coming to get them. They're almost dead. And out of nowhere, this bomb comes flying and goes right in front of the freaking Inferno. And she blows up and dies. I never screamed so harder, okay? I was like, oh my god, it's Waylon. Oh my god, it's because then you see, because they're all like, where the fuck did that come from? And they turn around, and there's Kaz, Jesper, and Waylon just standing there, okay? And Kaz is like, from my demolition expert. And like, then Waylon's just like, expert. And he's like, yeah, expert.
He's like, what did I get title of expert?
Yeah, he's like, expert? Oh, yeah, expert. Mm-hmm.
Totally, 100%.
So Jesper then, because he's, feeling his powers now, he's like, I'm fine with being a Grisha. He opens the gate with his powers. They walk in, and they're talking about different things in, the midst of whatever, while there's still two other Grisha. First, Jesper goes out there with his guns. And then the Grisha, the Tidemaker, freezes his guns. And so he has to drop it because it, hurts. And then she's like, she goes on this whole spiel about, like, oh, too bad you weren't born Grisha, because then you would know what it feels like. And then he goes, to be blessed, and he rips off his buttons and uses them as bullets and takes all 5 of this bitch's fingers off.
Fantastic.
And I'm sitting there going, I loved you before, but stop.
A man after my own heart.
You're making me fall all over again. Stop. She can't, now she's like freaking out, can't, bend anymore with that. Like and that's just enough time for Nikolai to sneak up and shoot her in the neck. I was so happy. You don't understand.
No, I fully imagine.
And that was like that was another thing that I loved, is that they showed more unhingedness with these crows, because there are there are a lot of moments in the book where they are unhinged. They are unhinged characters, but they're kind of diluted in the show a little bit. But that moment, and then the way that Kaz starts explaining to Pekka Rawlings, who is his arch nemesis, how he buried his I think he's like 6-year-old son 6 feet deep in a cemetery. If you give me what I want, I'll tell you where your son is. So he gives him what he wants and whatever, after a lot of begging, and he literally makes the man get on his knees. And I'm like,
fantastic.
I love you. Then he's like, well, he's at this Black Veil cemetery. You better, if you bring all your men, you guys should be able to find him in time before the air
runs out.
And I'm like, dude, but then just because of the way Kaz is, you're like, he didn't do that.
No.
He built it up really nice, though. But he didn't. Because then it's a trap. The guy goes there. The police are there. They capture him. And then right before he gets into the carriage, the police carriage, another carriage pops up with his son in it. And his son gets out. So his son's perfectly fine. But it just, the moment you're like, stop. The moment you're just like, he
really played you.
He really played you. He got you to get on your knees.
What do we love more than a man on his knees? A man who can make you get on your knees. Both are equally
Amen.
great.
So
the church of I am a whore for fictional characters.
Yes. So now we've come to the end of my rant, because those are all the moments that I have loved and hated. But before we leave, I would like to say my predictions for the next season. Whether or not we're getting season 3 of Shadow and Bone, or we're getting a spin-off series. I'm hoping both. But my predictions are, especially with the fact that they started talking about the drug. The drug is where the Six of Crows starts.
Yes. And there's also a heist specifically in the Six of Crows.
So that's what I think we're getting. I think we're getting the Ice Court heist. And I am so happy. And we better get, if they do that, we better get Waylon, Jesper, and Inej stealing a tank.
Yes, you've told me that. That is,
there's so many moments that I love in the Ice Court heist, but that is the most hilarious part.
But let's be honest here, there's no better, trio for it in the 6. Because, it's definitely Waylon and Jesper, and then, Kaz it's not happening with Kaz, and then you're like, it could happen with Nina, right? Yeah. And then...
And Matthias would have never happened.
But Inej would have just been like, this is how it's gonna go.
This is how I survive, so that's fine.
This is how it goes.
So then we're definitely going to get the kid that they steal if they do the Ice Court heist. And in that case, I wonder if we're gonna get Waylon being tailored, which will be more interesting because Waylon and Jesper are already together. So is he going to fuck up this time and mess them up or no?
Ooh, check in next week.
Right? We're going to get a jealous Kaz, and I'm so fucking happy.
That's all we care about, really.
I don't want Inej and Toya to get together at all. But,
No, it's not about that. It's about seeing Kaz jealous in real time and him trying to play down no, I'm not. Why would I be jealous?
As he goes and he freaking kills Toya.
He's mad as shit.
Toya's nice. He's great. He's fun.
We don't want him dead. We just want to see Kaz jealous.
But he made his own deathbed.
Right?
You're going after his girl. Stop.
That was your own fault, buddy. We could.
But yeah, and then we're gonna see more of Inej and Wesper and way more violence, and I'm here for it. On the Shadow Bone side, I think we're going to get the monster Nikolai, because we didn't get that yet. In the books, he ends up getting bitten or something from the Volcra,
yes,
and
I remember that.
he turns into one of them, which at the end they teased that he started having something grow. So
Ooh.
I think we're going to get that. I think the apparent is going to be the next villain, because we didn't get to have the villain apparent yet. I want it to happen now. I know they just released it, but I want it to happen now.
Okay.
But yeah, so did you like the story?
Yes, I did.
As she's yawning at me.
I'm tired. I was yawning before we even started. But yeah, no, like I really like the story and everything you tell me about it, and I feel like I've watched it even though I haven't watched it, because you just tell me everything that's happened.
Because I'm so detail oriented.
It's good.
Great.
Now I'm like, hold on, I've watched this. No, not at all. I actually made it up in my head. This was just the part that you told me.
Exactly. Thank you for coming to my brain dead obsession. I hope you liked listening as much as I liked just talking. And I'm sorry if you lost brain cells while watching this, but that's the risk you take when you click.
Listening, who knows how you're...
Well, I'm putting this up on YouTube, so it's kind of watching, half listening, half there. But yeah, so tune in next time, and maybe Romala will have all the brain cells, or we'll both be sharing them.
Who knows? We'll see what I get obsessed with. There's 1,000,008 things. I get a new obsession every week. It's a problem.
So this should be fun. Anyway, thank you, and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.